The main political thrust of this Ardèche has been seen as an attempt to place Fine Gael on the left of the political spectrum. During the debates, there were frequent references to the problems of social inequality and to the concept of the just society. So I asked the party leader, Alan Dukes, if that had been the strategy, had it been successful.
That's not the way the strategy is. We have been restating here this weekend concerns that we first expressed in the Just Society 25 years ago. I don't believe that concerns with employment, with access to health, access to education and all of those issues that I talked about last night are the exclusive concern of the left. They belong to the people. My party is a party of the people and those are our concerns.
Well, is your difficulty not that you have to overcome a voter perception that in the Tallaght strategy you actually did support severe health cuts and cuts in education spending?
What we supported in the Tallaght strategy was the overall budgetary action that needed to be taken, not the details of it, and right during the period of that government, as we have done since then, we have been concerned to point out that there are a number of ways in which the way we spend money can be more directly suited to the concerns that we have with jobs and with equality.
Can I ask you about Fine Gael standing in the opinion polls? You haven't been doing all that well. If there's no improvement, say, in the months ahead, do you feel that your leadership might be in some way called into question?
I don't think so. I have the view about opinion polls that I don't worry too much about how they're moving within a fairly small range. What I think is more important is to get hold of the idea that when you're starting a new development in political thinking, it takes time to take hold. It took us from 1981 to 1987 to implant in our political culture the idea that you needed a certain basic financial common sense to make the whole thing work. What we're now trying to do, and what we're setting out to do now, is to implant into our political culture the concerns that we have with employment, with access to education, to health, and all those other issues that we dealt with. It will take some time, I believe, for the public to get hold of those ideas, but I think they will.
A government proposal to set up an all-party committee on the reform of local government and its finances ran into considerable difficulties last year when Fine Gael said they wouldn't take part unless there was a second Dáil committee to consider the reform of income tax and PRSI. Alan Shatter argued today that they couldn't look at the imposition of new local taxes outside of the overall reform of the tax system.
Fine Gael will not be duped by the present government into sanctioning the imposition of new local taxes without tackling the overall need for fundamental tax changes. We will not support the government. We will not support the government using the establishment of this committee as an excuse to postpone local elections. Local elections are an essential part of our democratic system.
During a debate on health motions, there was strong criticism of the government's handling of the health crisis, with delegates demanding the resignation of the minister. Spokesman Ivan Yates said it was unfair that basic standards of health care were being denied to people because of financial cutbacks and a lack of proper planning.
This government has failed to deliver an adequate health service for all our people. Their health service is based on your ability to pay. They stick with outdated and inefficient structures and administration. They accuse their critics of spreading false propaganda instead of listening to the real concerns of ordinary people. Fine Gael in the 1990s is offering the public a real alternative. We believe in a modern, efficient health service that is professionally run and will operate in the framework of legal rights of every citizen to proper health care services. Our objective is and will be to implement those reforms in government in the 1990s.
The last debate of the day was on education, which spokesman John Bruton said should be the central issue of public debate in the 1990s. There was no issue, he said, which was of greater long-term importance.
The number of people who have a chance to go to university or third-level education coming from what might be described as a working-class home or from a home of limited means is criminally small. The fact of the matter is that because there are so many people of talent coming from homes where their parents don't have enough money, they're not able to go to university. They're not able to go to third level, even though they have the ability to go to third level, because their parents don't have the money.